Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is the Global Reality Radio Network.
Another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network with me, your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being here with us tonight for another late night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. It is the 24th of April, 2012 into the 25th of April, 2012. And thanks for staying up late with us and being here with us for another live edition. We haven't been live since Thursday of last week, and we are live here tonight with you, broadcasting as usual from my website where this broadcast originates from. And that is, of course, theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. And up there you'll find all things pertaining to my work. Well, I tell you, it's such a duality for me right now. Because I'm spending a lot of time working on the new film, The Lost Secrets of Ancient America Part 1, which is the official title of the film now. And it's just, it's unbelievable. It's completely unbelievable. I should always expect this whenever I'm making a film. I should always expect, because it always has turned out that way for me. But I should always expect, I guess, that and I just don't, because you never know where things are going to go. You really never know where things are going to go until you start researching. That's why I always preach to everybody, and I know that you always hear the lunatics and the plants and the rest that say that to you as well, which really does muddy the waters for that message of doing your own research. And I can't stress it enough. It is the most important thing you can do. You have to do your own research, and you will reap the benefits of that when you dedicate the time to doing it. It's just like the CMP stuff. It was way deeper than I ever thought it would be. And now this has become even deeper than I ever thought it would be. It's insane. Unbelievable. A lot of the hunches and stuff that I had about the rock wall and about a lot of the stuff in general are starting to prove themselves correct. I got to be honest with you. I'm really losing interest fast in anything else, topic wise, not life wise, but topic wise, as far as research and stuff. I mean, as deep as this is, folks, everything else to me just pales in comparison. I really does. I mean, I can't even stomach the thought of listening to 2 minutes of a radio talk show or something, or a YouTube video or something, to have to hear some guy talk about, Bilderbergs or, international Freemasonry or international bankers. Not Freemasonry so much. I mean, they do have a hand on this. More of a hand than I thought, to be honest with you, for this, as far as what the conspiracy that I'm revealing here. And the funny thing is, I didn't intend this film to be a conspiracy film per se, but God damn it, it's turned out to be, a much it really is. There is. I mean, you wouldn't think with this topic with the rock wall and the ancient. I mean, but it is. There is. It's been an ongoing conspiracy. It's been the conspiracy in our country, the United States of America specifically. It's been the conspiracy since the founding of this country, ladies and gentlemen. They have been covering up the evidence for past civilizations, accrediting Indians with things that beforehand they said they had no way of doing. You know, they paint the Indians as these intellectually devoid people, but then later turn around and say, yeah, they built all the mounds, when that's absolutely not true. There was ancient civilizations here long ago, and in fact, I'm starting to think Michael Tsarian was right all along with this whole Irish origins of civilization, everything moving west to east. That's starting to prove itself correct, too, from what I'm seeing. Because these things there was a massive, massive civilization here in the United States that also related to the Phoenicians and the Canaanites and the Israelites, ancient Israelites. And it does appear that yes, this existed. Something happened here, and there was, and then the flood happened, and it all moved east. And supposedly that's the story of what Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice-born, you know, Thoth, Quetzalcoatl. What was the other? Marduk. What was that? The other one he was known as Marduk. Enki, whatever. On and on and on. Was that he had he said started the civilization here in the West, and then everything moved east. But it's been the ongoing conspiracy to keep this ancient past, and that's why 100% why you've seen. They have found. I mean, they found things like mummies in like Iowa with the mummification style that predates the mummification style of ancient Egypt. Artifacts, things on and on and on that relate, that are Egyptian style that predate Egypt even. So it's quite a duality for me right now working on this film and not having realized, you know, that with this rock wall, what I'm attempting to do here is to actually show a gigantic piece of what has been covered up in this ongoing conspiracy to keep these things buried. And lo and behold, I mean, goddamn, it just makes so much sense. The Freemasons and government of yesterday that were the founding fathers, their people today are ongoing in this conspiracy and ongoing in keeping this covered up. So with that going on, it's quite the duality for me. You know, if you're really, I want to be honest with you, if you're tuning in the show tonight to hear an upbeat, positive show or something like that, you might as well tune out now. Because I'm not really in a positive mood right now, but I mean, I'm positive about the film because it's unbelievable and it's blowing me away. And the research is really paying off, and it's going so much deeper than I ever thought it would be. I mean, my God, I thought the CMP stuff was daunting. And like I said, I mean, everything else, I just, you know, the idea of having to sit through some Patriot radio show or something and hear people talking about bankers or Bilderbergers or Jews or any of this stuff, I got to tell you, man, I just, even the thought of that shit all seems, I'm sitting here looking at this news, and I got news to cover with you here tonight. We didn't have any to cover last night. Well, I did, but it was pretty much the same stuff we had tonight. But I mean, I'm looking at this news and stuff. I don't even want to talk about this shit anymore, man. I mean, none of this stuff, it seems even important, you know, 9/11 or, you know, the conspiracy. Was it planes or no planes? God damn, who gives a fuck? We got people running around praising the founding fathers, talking about, let's take it back to the founding fathers' days. Your fucking founding fathers have been keeping the truth from you and all of us since day one, folks. And what NASA has done in the cover-up of extraterrestrials and the rest of it is just a continuation of that. And again, Masons. The moon hoax, again, part of that same conspiracy, folks. This has been ongoing. You know, the stuff I found out about Ralph Hall in the 2.5 ton garnet stone that had Egyptian hieroglyphs on it. You know, the rumor that him and some other men were witnessed from the Rockwall Courthouse scene in the middle of the night, you know, pulling a heist, pulling this rock out, take this stone to his house, and him being a Freemason with his lodge, with his office door right directly across from the little effigy of the rock wall they have with some stones taken from the wall in front of the old courthouse. And then you look up his Masonic lodge that he's I think it's like the East Trinity or something like that, Masonic lodge that he's a member of. And boom, right there at the top of their website, they have a little rock wall effigy animated thing that goes around it. There were ancient people here who had knowledge of, basically they were ancient Freemasons. Phoenicians, I mean, we don't know. There's lots of different names, and there's lots of different things I haven't all pieced together yet. But yeah, I mean, they found, you know, Masonic inscriptions to Judea that predate 12,000 years BC and stuff like this. I mean, it's just unbelievable, mind-boggling. The cover-up. I mean, you know, this stuff in Indiana Jones where they show the big warehouse, like Hangar 18, you know, they're taking all the artifacts in there. I mean, that is a pretty good analogy for the United States. This country was here long before they tell us it was. And people like John Dee and Sir Francis Bacon. John Dee allegedly found this out in a channeling session, which is made all the more interesting by the fact that his Anunnaki language system, well, Enoch being also, Enoch is, of course, we know that Enoch is Quetzalcoatl. He's also Thoth. So Enoch, the Enochian language system would be the Thoth or the Quetzalcoatl language system. And that is what John Dee created from some tablets that were recovered from none other than Solomon's Temple. And in these channeling sessions, John Dee, and he had related this information to Sir Francis Bacon, both of these men who believed without any shadow of a doubt that the new world we now know as the United States was it was supposed to be in the near future again at one time Atlantis. And the evidence is just overwhelming. It's unbelievable. And this has been going on and covering up. We've been chasing our tails about conspiracies and all the rest of this horse shit. And meanwhile, we have the ability right now, today, to be able to investigate and get to the bottom of this and piece this together. And it would be a devastating blow to the powers that be. But it seems to me that everybody wants to sit around and talk about the same shit they were talking about 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 years ago. Jews, bankers, New World Order coming to get you, coming to eat Christians. It's, you know, it really makes the whole CMP stuff and the phony patriot movement, truth movement thing to me become all that much more clear. We moved into this country and set up a demolition team to demolish and bury the past history that was here, to create a new narrative. And not just for the benefit of, you know, the United States, the United States government, but for the world structure, power structure at all. I wholeheartedly think the Founding Fathers, not the people who first came over on the Mayflower and all that stuff. I know there were people that were generally thought they were going to get a new way of life and all this stuff. But I think the Founding Fathers, 100%, from Thomas Jefferson to Ben Franklin to George Washington, whoever you want to say, I think absolutely, positively, they were all absolute ancients of the crown. I think they were absolutely working on behalf of the Queen of England, working on behalf of the British Royal Crown to set up a new colony that appeared to be the anti-England in order to, by proxy, cover up this past history that would threaten probably as much as anything the aristocracy, the crown, and the whole power structure of the world. It was a lot smaller of a world back then than it is now, remember. So the importance of keeping power was all that much more important. It's diluted a lot more today. So I just, it's unbelievable to me the weight and just how it's just stunningly unbelievable this information is. So, it's a duality for me right now to be dealing with that and to also be sitting over here wondering if I'm even going to be able to continue another day here. Because, well, on one hand, I've got right here in the palm of my hand the greatest, probably the best documentary I will ever make. I don't know. It'd be hard to top this one, folks. I mean, this just makes everything I've ever done before this just look like tiddlywinks. It just makes to me, it makes everything else I've ever done look irrelevant. The weight and the scope and the size of this, and we've got people out there that are willing to go out and shoot footage for us and stuff at some of these places. It's just absolutely fantastic. I'm finding more and more locations all over the place. I'm about to make a list of states and do a state by state rundown of locations and just throw them out here on the show sometime this week so that people, that may be out there can maybe go out there and get some footage. But, I'm sitting here wondering if we're going to be able to continue. I mean, again, I've got this, what I think is going to be my best documentary ever in one hand. And in the other hand, I'm sitting over here with almost no money, wondering how we're going to pay the bills and even live this month because we had our absolute worst month for support that we have ever had in the history of this show. Period. End of story. And I am really, really dismayed at the duality of how I can be on the cutting edge of the kind of research and pushing the boundaries and really getting to the deep, deep mechanisms of this thing that I've been working so hard for years and years and years and years and years. And yet we're now not receiving zero support, iota one, hardly at all. Many people that we've been longtime supporters and donors I haven't heard from, got one iota of support from in a while, well over a month in some cases. I'll put it to you point blank, we need about $500 by Friday and another $3 by Monday, or that's it. Period. End of story. And the reason it hasn't been shows for the past couple of days and last week and this week is because, to be honest with you, I've had to I hadn't been able to spend that time even preparing a show or being able to do a show because I've had to take time away from working on my film to make Craigslist ads to start selling stuff so I can just live and survive and keep going here because I'm never going to give up. We had over 50 inquiries last night. I stayed until 5 a.m. counting these. We had over 50 inquiries last night about a live show, about if there was going to be a live show. Over 50. How many donations did we get in yesterday? 0. How many emails do I get a day? 50, 100, 150 sometimes. I check our listenership. I check our YouTube videos. We're getting hits. We have listenership. We have people out there. But again, everybody runs and scurries like cockroaches when the bills come up due. And everybody has this sense of entitlement that has ruined our country and other countries around the world, that everybody deserves to get everything for free and nobody wants to have to pay for the cost of keeping things like this. I'm a one-man operation. I have no support and nobody helping me here. The few people that do donate and keep the show going, you're all philanthropists. I know you never wanted to be that, but you are, because you're one of the few people who are ensuring that maybe we'll get some truth in our time. God damn it! That's what I'm trying to do here. But it's bad. It's as bad as it ever has been. We're at red alert level. I sent out emails saying that. Nobody responded. So I'm starting to just think the people have spoken, and that's it. And it chaps my ass for me to have to say that may be it, considering I'm on the fucking brink here. Oh, God, I look at this crap. Oh, I mean, it's amazing to me. I mean, they use this Trayvon thing to try and push for civil unrest and racial tensions, and they're doing it. I mean, they're pulling the 1960s all over again. I mean, a lot of people have talked about and already sort of glamorized and memorialized about the 60s and, oh, what a magical time it was, and, the energy and the vibe and everything. And, things were happening. And I think that those have to do with planetary cycles, the zodiacal age that we're in at that particular time, location of the stars. And we have these periodically. And the elite, who literally have astrologers and have for centuries, in-house, in the halls of government, in the places where they live, literally. They keep astrologers around 24/7. There are not any major decisions made for war or anything like that without the consulting of astrologers within government. It's absolutely true. And these people who run this show are quite aware of this. And so at certain times when the frequency and the energy is oscillating high enough, that gives us the opportunity to be able to harness that energy for the positive and to be able to change things. What do? They create this phony counterculture that ropes everybody into it and then keeps the energy down and keeps it from ever raising and becoming a positive vibratory experience. It's the same thing they did with the 60s, man. They did the same thing. They had their guys in there infiltrating everything. That's why they could never get anything going then. They're doing this all over again with this racial stuff. I mean, this, white dude, Matthew Owens in Alabama, he gets the shit beat out of him by a bunch of blacks who say that it's justice for Trayvon. I mean, just, why aren't they making a big deal out of that? You see what they're doing here? And then they've got this phony counterculture now that makes me sick. It's another element of the whole fucking phony truth bullshit. I don't know why so many of you out there think that Joe Rogan is some kind of goddamn Messiah, Timothy Leary 2.0. I mean, that guy is a cocksucker. Really, he's a cocksucker. He is a real cocksucker. But now they've created this bullshit new counterculture 2.0 with, Alex Gray and Daniel Pinchbeck. And it's kind of, based around the LSD culture and the tripping culture and the DMT culture. And Joe Rogan's in that big scene now. I mean, we couldn't even have a, an attempt at a documentary to explain to people what DMT is and what it's all about without having to have Joe Rogan in there, as the host. It just made me sick. And they're doing what they've done all over again, which is to create this phony counterculture to rope people in it. They think, oh, this is great. They think it's hip and they think it's underground and they think it's anything but mainstream. Little do they know, it's a funnel, man. It's there to siphon you off so you don't go find any real or have any real experience or have any real energy, harmonic shifting and raising going on. you wind up right back down into one of the little boxes and one of their little paradigms again. And that's what they're doing right now all over again. It's unbelievable to me that in this day and age, people are still talking about Jew this or whatever else have you. My God. I look at this news and I'm just like, I don't even want to talk about any of this stuff. It doesn't even fucking appeal to me. I'll tell you what does appeal to me. Husband accidentally shoots himself and wife during gun safety class. Boy, again, that's just natural selection right there, isn't it? Hey, honey, let's go take a gun safety class. Pow! Oh, shit, I shot my wife. Pow! Oh, shit, I shot myself. God damn. Guess we need to learn some goddamn gun safety, didn't we, honey? Shit. I mean, my God. Mystery of the half-mile-wide objects plunging into Saturn's rings. NASA's Cassini orbiter captures snowballs, leaving glittering trails as they crash through. Hundreds of objects up to a half mile in diameter have been caught on camera, wreaking havoc with one of Saturn's rings. The objects are actually snowballs created by some of Saturn's 60 moons, like Prometheus. They have been snapped, punching through Saturn's F ring, the outermost of the planet's main rings, with a radius of about 87,000 miles. And so it's funny how anytime anything slams anything, it's an ice crystal. I mean, they called, those UFOs and the stuff that are zipping out of the atmosphere, where you can see the flash in the atmosphere and the shot comes by where they're trying to shoot down UFOs. They literally said that was frozen urine ejected from the space station. Excuse me? Why has it always got to be swamp gas or ice crystals? Oh, chemtrails? Chemtrails are just ice crystals. That's all it is. Cold up there. They're on top of the old atmosphere. And jet engines, of course, are hot. So, hell, there you go. You get ice crystals. It's the way it is. It ain't chemtrails. So shit slamming into Saturn. That's fucking wonderful news. Oh, man. I just could give a shit about any of this stuff. Revealed Antony and Cleopatra's twin babies depicted on sculpture discovered over 90 years ago. It was discovered in 1918 near the Temple of Dendera on the west bank of the Nile and acquired by the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, but its significance has only just been realized. Listen to this. Now researchers believe that a 33, it's always 33, isn't it? 33-foot sculpture cataloged merely as GE-46278 actually depicts Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, the twin babies of Mark Antony and Cleopatra the Seventh. The revelation comes courtesy of Giuseppe Pina Capriati, an Egyptologist at Italy's National Research Council. She described the statue's unusual looks to Discovery News. It shows two naked children, one male and one female, of identical size, standing within the coils of two snakes. Oh, man. Always with that goddamn snake, isn't it? Goddamn serpent priests. It's just unbelievable. Let me see if I can drop a link to this in there for you in the chat room. You guys got to see this. The damn snake head wrapped around it. Each figure has an arm over the other shoulder while the other hand grasps a serpent. That old serpent, he's everywhere. Behold, I have cast out the serpents. Wasn't that what St. Michael or somebody said when they first came into Ireland? Behold, I have cast out thy serpents. Even though there was never been any snakes in that part of Ireland ever at all, ever. What serpents were they talking about? The serpent priests, the ones that came from the west to the east. And got replaced with Christianity, which again was just worship of the same deity all over again. Everybody's fighting over whose goddamn imaginary friend's the best. Everybody's fucking worshiping the same goddamn thing. Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Christ, Jesus, it doesn't fucking matter. Quetzalcoatl, Onas, Viracocha, it's all the same thing. Different incarnations, different names of the same goddamn thing. Hello! She added, unfortunately, the faces are not well preserved. Notice how they always, if you watch, there's a documentary out there called The Revelation of the Pyramids. And it shows in there the mathematics and the geometry of the perfectly sculpted faces. Egyptians had the ability to do, I mean, we're talking about where they're like, symmetrical on both sides. Perfect. We couldn't do that with our modern tools. We have no modern tools that can do that facial work like they did it today. Yet supposedly they did it all with a fucking rock and a chisel. And even though we know they have the ability to make great faces, somehow it's always the faces that get degraded on the artifacts. This is not an accident. For better or for worse, whatever it is, there's something about these facial features that just seem to scare the ever-living bejesus out of anybody in the establishment. Some people speculate because it shows that they had black features, Nubian features, African type. So that's why it is because it's a white man cover up, that kind of thing. And it very well could be. I mean, everything else is. Born in Alexandria, BC, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so it's an interesting find. And yeah, there it is. 2 intertwined serpents around, Cleopatra and Antony. Yeah, they were all into fucking worshiping the serpent gods. Hi, Daddy, I love you. Engineer talks to his dead teenage daughter after developing paranormal detection devices. A grief-stricken electrical engineer believes he has found a way to communicate with his dead daughter 8 years after her death. Using his expertise to design and build a series of electromagnetic detection devices, Gary Galka claims to have even recorded his eldest daughter, Melissa, saying, "Hi, Daddy, I love you." Devastated by his girl's death in a car accident on her way home in 2004 at the age of 17, Gary and his family claim they started to experience unexplained phenomenon at their Connecticut home days after the fatal accident, according to the Hartford Courant. She started doing things like ringing the doorbell, changing TV channels, turning lights on and off, said Gary, who runs DAS distribution in East Granby and lives with his wife Cindy and 2 other daughters, Jennifer and Heather. There were situations when my wife would start to make lunch with Heather and Jennifer, and all of a sudden they'd feel someone come into the room. I've been lying in bed and felt someone come down on my side of the bed and felt a weight on my chest like someone's head. It evolved into things like feeling a tap on the shoulder, someone calling out our names, and it felt like someone was kissing our foreheads. Convinced that these were after-death communications, Gary set about creating specific devices so that he could talk with his eldest girl. Using his knowledge of electromagnetic sensor systems, Gary created the Melmeter 8704, named after his daughter, the year she was born and the year that Gary believes she passed into the spirit realm. Developing the year that he believes she passed into the spirit realm? What's that supposed to be? She died in 04, right? Well, okay, there you go. Developing additional devices such as Spirit Box, Gary has recorded his daughter saying, "Hi, Daddy, I love you." The Galka family insists that these experiences are real and that the instruments that electrical genius Gary has created prove it. Well, if it is true, then, this guy should be a fucking billionaire pretty soon, right? We need the I mean, I'm going to be asking for an iGhost for Christmas. You know, a little iPhone type device that measures, you know, PK energy and all that stuff. It'll be fantastic. You should market this shit. I mean, if you can talk to dead relatives with something this dude made at his house, I mean, this guy should be fucking pretty rich pretty soon, right? Oh, don't worry. Grandma's going to be joining us for Thanksgiving dinner this year, guys. Grandma's been dead for 15 years. Yeah, but I got an iGhost. Look. Yeah, that's great. We're going to set it up at the table and talk to Grammy. You're going to love it. The entire family say that they have come into contact with Melissa, even seeing her appear inside their home. I've never seen Melissa, said Gary, but my younger daughter Heather has seen her 3 times. Indeed, Gary's ghost detection equipment has found a niche market, and the devices, which are priced between $79 and $350, have become successful. Nobody catered to these people before, said Gary of Weekend Ghost Hobbyists, and even television shows such as Ghost Adventures, Blonde Ghost. Yeah, never mind, dude. Yeah, sure you're talking to your dead daughter. You're an electrical engineer. You can probably figure out a way to make it look like you are anyway, just to get your ass on TV, huh? I was all good with this story, and I was all good with this. You know, it seemed like a kind of a cool thing. Nice. Oh, how sweet. You know, this guy's putting his knowledge to work and, you know, talking to his dead daughter. Well, you know, whether he is or isn't, that's sweet, blah, blah, blah. And then you had to find out that, no, in the end, this was all just a ploy so to get his sorry ass on TV. Way to go, dude. You know, I had some respect till I found out you were, using the death of your daughter to be able to get yourself on TV. God damn. Again, you know, that's the whole problem with our whole fucking society, isn't it? Oh, look, it's Nessie. I need about $350. It is one of the greatest mysteries of the deep, and its legend has outfoxed scores of investigators over the generations. Stories, pictures, and rumors about a monster living below the surface of Scotland's deepest loch go back for decades, but it is now hoped that this grainy image of a long serpent-like creature may finally unlock the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster. I mean, that could be anything. This is like some Weekly World News shit here. The sonar picture that shows a large unidentified living object deep underwater was recorded by Loch Ness boat skipper Marcus Atkinson. The mysterious being was recorded at a depth of 75 feet in the murky water and measured nearly 5 feet wide. Mr. Atkinson's sonar fish finder device records the width of objects and the depths directly below his tourist boat every quarter of a second. The image produced when his vessel was in the loch's Ucart Bay showed a long-moving object that had followed the boat for more than 2 minutes. Oh, wow, shit. No, actually, they do have actual footage of this from the finder. Yeah, 5 foot thick. Wow. Oh shit, man. This may not be kookery after all. Don't you love that? You get one story that you think is legit. You read it, and it turns out to be horseshit. You get another story you think is horseshit and kookery. You start reading it, you're like, wait a minute here. Again, that's all being done by design. That's all being done by intent. The image produced when his vessel was in the loch's Ucart Bay showed a long-moving object that had followed the boat for more than 2 minutes. The consistent marks on Mr. Atkinson's sonar created a horizontal mass, which is not an indicator of length, but exited Loch Ness Monster. I'm sorry, I read that completely wrong. But excited Loch Ness Monster experts have ruled out the sighting being any other fish, seal, or wood debris and believe it is proof of an unknown creature in the loch. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is. I mean, it's some sort of ancient, it's just an old ancient dinosaur or something left over from the olden times, I'm sure. I made a mistake. Gaia theory scientist James Lovelock admits he was alarmist about the impact of climate change. That's pretty huge. Environmental scientist James Lovelock, renowned for his terrifying predictions of climate change's deadly impacts on the planet, has gone back on his previous claims, admitting that they were alarmist. Yeah, the ClimateGate stuff really shook shit up. People are having to, this guy's 92, Lovelock's 92 years old. He's trying to save his legacy now because he knows the truth about it's coming out, and he's trying not to get remembered as somebody who overblew this shit just to advance the agenda of the elite, which is exactly what they've done. Funny story here about using your microwave as like a Faraday shield to put your electronic devices in the event of an EMP attack. My thing about it is who in the hell is going to give you notice before there's an EMP attack? How in the fuck are you going to have time to run and, let me put my iPhone and my iPad and my laptop in my microwave before the EMP explodes? Can you hold on 1 second? Okay, there you go. All right, go ahead and launch it now. I mean, it makes no sense to me. What is the fucking point of this article? Great, so a microwave could work as a Faraday cage. How are you going to have enough notice? What's going to happen if you're at work when the EMP goes off? What's going to happen if you're asleep? What are we all going to go out and buy fucking microwaves now, or go to the fucking garage sales and thrift shops and get old microwaves, start keeping our iPhones and iPads in there? Well, honey, before we go to bed, let's make sure you put your iPhone in the old microwave. And when you get up in the morning, Bobby, don't put your Hot Pockets in there. You burn your mama's phone. I don't know. Maybe I'm just turning into a cynical fucker. I really do. I'm starting to feel that way. But not, I'm so positive and upbeat about this film, but yet, I'm sitting over and I don't know if I'm going to be here much longer. I don't know what's going to happen, folks. If we don't get the money in this week, that we have had the worst month we have ever had. If we don't get some support ASAP, it's going to be over with. And goddamn it, I can't. It blows my mind to see my work that I've been working on for so long be at the brink of not being here anymore, when I'm on the brink of bringing out the most bombshell of information I ever had in my life. God damn it, I can't tell you how frustrating it is. And I know, you got the haters out there who don't want to hear me talk about this kind of stuff, but I can't get up here and just not be honest with you 100% of the time and tell you how I feel, whether you like it or not. It's my show. I talk about what I want. If you don't like it, don't tune in and listen. And if we didn't have people listening out there, I would understand that. But my God, folks, I've been here for almost 5 years doing this show. I've been researching half my life. And it's a serious blow to feel like I'm on the brink to know that I'm on the brink of the most explosive information I've ever brought out, and to also be on the brink of this all ending. But I'm losing interest fast in all in just the horseshit anymore. I have no interest in getting up here and talking about, Obama. What's Obama doing? Obama's doing the same thing Bush and Clinton and Bush and Reagan and Nixon and every other cocksucker was doing before him. Acting as the goddamn front man for a power structure that's way larger and way bigger than the current office manager they've got in there running things, allegedly running things. I'm not, to get up there and talk about Obama or the economy or the bankers or, any of this horse shit. I don't know how guys can still do 3-hour shows and talk about the same shit they were talking about 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. To me, if you were a real, that really shows you, to me, the people who do those shows. That shows you who the real researchers are and who aren't. Because people who who really are doing real research and not just becoming lackadaisical and lazy and not pushing forward, those are the people who stay sticking talking about the same old shit forever and ever and ever. They never progress because they never do their own work. They just regurgitate shit and beliefs that other people have. And I saw people starting to do that with my CMP stuff when I first started coming out with it, and it worried me, and I didn't say anything about it to people that I saw doing it. And in the end, it did turn out to be that way, and it just, it makes me sick. People just believe anything without checking it out for themselves. So you got a decision to make. I mean, the people need to speak. If the people speak, and we don't get at least $500 in here by Friday, another $3 by Monday, if the people speak and that's it, I guess that's it. But one way or the other, I'm not going to quit. If you value what I do, then speak and let me know that you value what I do. If you don't, that's fine too. And those of you that don't, you can just go ahead and fuck right off right now, because I'm done with you. That's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. TheGlobalReality.com.